So, Merry Christmas.
Oh my God. Merry Christmas. I'm like, ugh. Yep.
Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you.
I feel like it's my birthday and I'm Jesus.
Wow, conceited much.
Well, if that's what you're singing.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
You know,
oh, what fun it is to
Aaron,
ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle
you're getting
bells,
so much
jingle
joy
bells,
out of this.
Jingle all the way.
And I know you know this about
Oh, what
me.
fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
When I lived here,
I know.
we had this issue to the point where I would listen to earbuds in the car.
I know. Starting right after Thanksgiving dinner.
Literally. It was like, Christmas! And I was like, no.
Y'all, Jordan hates Christmas.
I really do.
She is a Scrooge and a Grinch.
And I love getting people gifts. Like,
Yeah,
I love doing that. And I think I like getting people gifts more than I like getting gifts.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm like, I picked this out. Like, I thought of this for you specifically. And I get so excited. But I hate Christmas music.
Mm-hmm.
I can listen to it maybe like Christmas Eve, maybe even the 23rd, I'll say. And then like kind of on Christmas. And then I'm like, all right, it's over. 2.5 days. That's all I could take.
In the car yesterday,
Oh, God.
I wasn't even playing anything. Like, no music was playing. We were taking the kids to my in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
And Sophia, too, starts singing Christmas music. But she's only singing the covers of songs by Pentatonics.
Oh, that's cute.
And, like, nothing traditional.
Yeah.
Like, it's called, like, a Christmas anthem or something with the people walking through the snow. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I was following the eye. And she's just singing that part over and over again. And I'm like, where have you heard, like, have I really been playing that much Christmas music? And she'd sing that
like
for a
a
couple minutes.
sponge.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible.
No, even at work, because usually if we had to work the day before Christmas Eve or even on Christmas Eve, we would just go and wrap presents at work because no one came in, but we just had to be open because corporate said we had to be open. So I would put on Mariah Carey, like Pandora Christmas Station,
Right.
Frank Sinatra Christmas Station,
Right.
or NSYNC Christmas Station, and that was it. And everyone was like, well, at least she's playing Christmas music.
Right.
I was like, it's
a
going to be what
miracle.
I like.
Right.
Frank Sinatra, I can listen to him anytime, so maybe I'll do
Yes.
that this year.
Well, you used to dress up my baby in his tuxedo onesie and make him listen to
Sarah
Frank Sinatra.
and I were talking. I still need to like start. Well, I don't know. I kind of got him into 80s music last time we hung out. I was like, you like this song, right? And he's like, yeah.
Pretty much anything you tell him that he likes, he
likes.
Yeah.
I know. I need to start playing Frank Sinatra.
You're like the cool big sister, the cool aunt.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of Christmas happening in my house.
There is absolutely no Christmas in my house right now.
There's like Christmas exploding. In fact, Christmas is infecting birthdays.
Yeah.
We have a birthday tree. We stole that from somebody else. The idea, not the tree.
I was going to say, dang. Like, how did you get that out? That's a decent sized tree. Like, I got to go.
But we have 2 December birthdays, so they get to decorate their birthday tree, and all their birthday presents go under the birthday tree.
I have a December birthday, and I don't know if you would like that.
Well, I love Christmas.
I know you do.
But I found the perfect compromise.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What?
Because I love Christmas, so this episode has to be Christmassy.
Well, duh.
But you don't love Christmas, so
No.
it can also be horrible and criminal.
Can I just pull up our text message conversation?
Yes.
It was the best conversation I've ever had with you because we haven't seen each other the whole lot because you started a new job.
Oh my gosh. It's a great job.
Yes.
I've not been home for more than like 10 seconds in 3 weeks.
Yes. You've been so busy, but that's okay because where is it? Oh, okay. So we were talking about, should we have a theme? Like, we kind of already said it was going to be like a holiday theme, but we didn't know which route we were going to go. And when you said Christmas movies, I was like, wait, what? And I was like, are we not doing true crime? Are we talking about Christmas movies?
Oh, right.
So I was like, I could talk about The Grinch. That's a great movie. So then I was like, wait,
surprise.
what? And then
our
you're
Christmas
like
episode
Home Alone.
has no crimes in it.
So I was like, the only other Christmas movie I could think of besides Home Alone that has crimes in it is Home Alone 2. I was like, that is not in depth enough. So
the Grinch has crimes that he steals all of Christmas.
Then you say, or it doesn't have to be that, just seem timely. And I said, I think something Christmassy crime would be cool, but not a movie. I feel like a lot of crimes happen around Christmas. And then my favorite line, because I'm so funny, I got a joy out of this. I was like, people hate each other, and the holidays really brings that out. Like as if it was a positive thing. So I'm telling Lindsay, and she was like, you're right.
Right.
People do
well, I was
hate
thinking
each
this would
other.
be like a good time for like mass family murders. And
I was looking up people like in a Santa suit, or I like went that route, and I found a Santa suit.
Nice.
I know. I found a lot of Santa suits, but this one is particularly bad.
I went Home Alone all the way.
That's so funny.
It was the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, that combines Christmas and like an awesome movie from my childhood and crime. I got it.
Yeah. I do like that movie. But.
So it took me 2 seconds to find an article.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Me, I don't know, I kind of looked at a lot and I was like, dang, people are so dumb. I always do that though.
I know.
And I keep tabs open like, oh, there's a really good story over here. But I'm like, but what did this guy do? I'm like, oh, he's an idiot.
Oh, he's dumb.
Yep.
So
I'm excited to tell you my story.
I'm excited to hear your story. Is there anything else we have to talk about first?
I don't know. Welcome to Crime Crazy.
Oh my god.
Oh shit, we're so freaking bad.
All right.
You start for real though.
Welcome to Crime Crazy, the occasionally while we're on our break true crime podcast.
The holiday special.
The holiday special with Erin Klein,
And Jordan Middleton.
where we prove
That we know nothing about our legal system.
but we love Christmas, and we're always crazy for a good true crime story.
Yeah. We love Christmas. She loves Christmas.
Jingle bells, jingle. That's the only song I can think of.
Now to ruin the mood.
Joy to the world. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Literally labeled as holiday special with a little squiggle star.
Mine is labeled Christmas story.
Okay. So, I'll be honest. Normally when I write these, it's like usually the day of, because I just have the time to do that. And normally I wake up Tuesday mornings and I do. So, but it threw me all off because today's not even Tuesday, and
I have no idea what today is. Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
Sunday. Oh yeah, I get on an airplane tomorrow again.
Yep. Again.
I just got off an airplane a couple hours ago.
I know.
Which was really like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of flying.
Yes.
This podcast is totally getting episoded on the...
edited on the plane.
I'm going to edit that part out.
Yep. Okay, so mine, I only somewhat remember, so it's going to be a surprise for me.
What she meant to say is she wrote this when she was drunk. And
I don't even know if I was drunk, but tired.
I don't even know.
I don't even know.
I can't remember if I
think
drank that whole bottle of vodka.
I haven't been drunk in quite some time, so my birthday, but still.
I was a little drunk last night. My mom was a little drunk yesterday. She went out with
true fan.
I know. She went out with my aunt and my grandma and my grandma's friend who came down to visit her.
Oh.
And she's like, we just went to lunch. Now I'm going home and I'm going to watch the parade. Feeling pretty drunk.
Felon.
And I was like, that's awesome. That's all I said. I was like, don't join in on the parade. Just watch.
I need to get your mom drunk. That'd be fun. Drunk moms are always better moms.
You think?
I mean,
I guess we could ask my kids.
Oh. Here it comes.
I'm so ready.
It is actually a massacre.
What the fuck?
I told you I was going to ruin the mood.
Mine has a hero in it.
Mine does not have any type of nice things.
Is this like a massacre done by a shelf elf?
Ew.
That's your other favorite part of Christmas.
Ugh, I hate the elf on the shelf thing.
Oh my God.
When I have children, I'm going to be so evil.
With the elf?
With nothing.
You're just not doing anything.
Because someone's going to say, oh, my friends have this elf. And then I'm be like, you know why you don't have an elf? Because if you don't act right, you just can leave.
Right.
And then they're going to cry because they're 5.
So I really hate that the elf is like blackmail. Essentially. It's really manipulative. So our elf, I mean, I did make the comment to Toby just a little bit ago that if he didn't behave, I was going to tell the elf. Or I did tell the elf or something.
Yeah, you did.
But usually that's not. That was just me being frustrated for a second.
Mm-hmm.
our elf just suggests Merry Christmas time activities to do each day and like gets up to funny things. And I think that Toby does believe that she's flying to the North Pole to rat on him, but we don't talk about that and we don't read the book that goes along with it because
there's even a movie that
she's
goes
just
along
here
with it.
to be like cheerful and cute, and now she has clothes on and that's even better.
It's like a doll or something.
Right? It's like a doll that I might have to give her own Facebook page to and have her stalk you like Rigby used to.
Oh God, I hate that thing. I hate it so much.
Oh my God, there are so many great Rigby Jordan stories for another time.
I hate it. Okay. Okay. It's
I'm ready.
massacre time, guys. 2008, which really seems like yesterday, but in all honesty, it was almost 10 years ago.
Whoa.
I just had to say that too because it was tripping me out.
And when you say almost 10 years ago, you don't mean like it was 9 years ago. You mean like
next month it'll technically be 10 years
yeah, in a
ago.
couple of weeks it's 10 years ago.
Yep, pretty much. So this happened in a small suburb. It's not small. It's probably like a
medium suburb.
I don't want to say small suburb, but it's a suburb off of Los Angeles. So I feel like when you think about LA, it's huge. Like
right, I gotcha.
All the big things in your head, even if you've never been there, it's really not that big. But you know what I mean? Like, so anything off of that, you're like, oh, it's like a small suburb, but it's actually like a whole nother city. And it's Covina.
Okay.
So this happens on Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Which you already know is a great idea. Our bad guy of the day, Jeffrey Pardo, he's 45 years old. He dresses up like Santa.
Why does this sound familiar to me?
It was, we always say this. It was always very, like, publicized when it happened.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, I don't know it.
But no, even just the name. Jeffrey
Really?
Pardo.
Pardo.
Yeah. Okay, keep going.
Okay,
I'm excited to hear it.
Dressed up like Santa.
Uh-huh.
He gift wrapped a box like a present.
Okay.
And he went to a Christmas party.
Okay.
At his ex-in-law's house.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So around 11:30, he knocked on the door, and the party was in full swing. There was like, I think they said almost like 25 people at this party. So
it was
like,
a big party.
Yeah. It was mostly family. So they just had like a big family. When
are they going to sleep? Because the children need to be asleep by then.
I think that I can't say that yet.
Okay,
mostly
because
everyone
Santa
attending this party
needs to come.
Okay, but everyone else.
She's giving me a look like, wait a second, are we about to like have to have some truth here?
Okay, but this Santa should not have come because what he's about to do is really bad. But I think the youngest kid that was there was 8 years old because she's the one who answered the door.
Oh. And
you're not going to like this part.
Great. Merry Christmas.
But mostly everyone else I was trying to say is like teenage older and up.
Okay.
Like 16 and up. So,
people that you would let stay out that late at a party.
Yeah. Well,
8 is too young.
Yes. But I don't know. Like, it's like you're at grandma's house. Like,
yeah,
you're just up with everyone. Okay. So the 8-year-old goes to the door, opens it, and sees Santa. And as she's running to greet him, because she's all excited, he fires and shot her in the face. But she lives. Side note, I had to tell you that now before you got upset. So she did get a gunshot wound, but she lives.
Who the fuck shoots an 8-year-old on Christmas Eve?
Well, clearly.
What did the 8-year-old do to him?
Answered the door, which is what
he wanted her to do.
You knocked on it. It's not like he was walking in the street and she's like, oh my God, Santa. Like,
he dressed as Santa. What did he think she was going to do?
True. So I just had to I literally put in parentheses. I was like, I need to tell Erin that she does live. Like,
I appreciate that. And yet.
I know. So when he entered the door, he went in and started.
Now there's no more bodyguard blocking his way. That 8-year-old threat.
Aw. Well, this is about to get really bad, so I hope you're ready. He just goes in and just starts firing everywhere. Like, the police think that he didn't hit victims on accident. They think that he actually went up and kind of shot them execution style. Certain victims more than others. But he brought, I think it said 3 different handguns with him. And
just so he wouldn't have to reload
of ammunition.
Oh.
So I think he was planning on being crazy. So after shooting, obviously he was, but you know what I mean? So after shooting, he unwrapped the package like a present, and it was his homemade flamethrower that he had made to set the house on fire. So
to cover his tracks?
I think that he was so unstable that he just wanted to
watch the place burn.
I know. I was going to say completely like demolish everything.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want anything to survive this. So some partygoers did escape, and some did survive. Like just in the house, they didn't get out, but they did survive. 9 people did die from this, whether it be from gunshots or the fire itself. 3 were only wounded, the 8-year-old from earlier. A 16-year-old girl, she was just shot in the back and she ended up surviving. And a 20-year-old, she jumped, or I shouldn't say she, I don't know if it was a male or female, jumped out of a 2nd-story window trying to escape the house and broke her ankle.
Wow. But got away.
Yeah. Which I was like, that is probably the best injury to have from this whole thing.
Right.
So some people did escape, out the front door type of thing. A younger guy ran to a neighbor's house where they called police, and I was listening to the dispatch video, or it was on video, but it was great. Like the woman was she was like, oh my God, like I can't believe he's doing this. Like he's here, like you need to come and help. And now the whole house is on fire. And I was like, oh shit, that's could not.
Terrifying.
The dispatcher couldn't even get her to calm down to give her information, which I always feel like that's going to be me. I'm going to be too
I know. I was thinking about that on an airplane the other day. Like if I had to fly this plane, would I be able to stop freaking out long enough to listen for instructions?
Yeah. I was like, I hope I don't ever have to call 911 for something crazy emergency like that, but I hope I'm calm enough to give them the information they need so help can come faster. But anyway, back on track. So by the time police did get there, it took 80 firefighters an hour and a half, around an hour and a half, to extinguish the flames from this flamethrower thing he made. They said the flames were as tall as 50 feet, which I think is just insane. Yeah. It was 2-story house. It was at the end of the cul-de-sac. It was in a nice neighborhood. So
he's put everybody at risk, all these innocent people that he physically attacked, personally, but then
neighbors,
everybody else. And out in California,
it's so dry.
It's so
So I think he knew what he was doing to an extent. But because of this, it was hard to ID all the bodies, so they had to refer to dental records and health records to figure out who's who. After the attack, Jeffrey changed into normal clothes. I had a side note. The article said street clothes, and I was like, that makes him sound cool. No, normal clothes.
Right. Street clothes as opposed to his Santa uniform.
Yeah, I was like, normal clothes. He just changed. He had a rental car. He drove 30 miles to his brother's house where his brother was not home. So he was there by himself, and he ended up dying of a gunshot wound, self-inflicted. Good. Yeah. But
accidentally self-inflicted, or he shot himself? It
just said he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
I hope it was an accident and he didn't want to die, and he did, and he was really upset.
Hold on to your thought and then tell me what you think after all of the little motive things come up.
Okay.
So they think his initial plan was to flee to Canada because he bought a ticket to Canada for pretty much the next day. He was planning on trying to get out of the country.
Okay.
But he had a layover in Minnesota or something, and he called a friend who was out there and said that he would be out to visit, which he had just visited them in October. So they were like, was that just a ploy for us to look at the friend, or was he not going to stay and he was just going to go straight to Canada? He kind of covered his story to give himself an alibi maybe.
Right.
So that was confusing, which I hate to say it, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. He died anyways.
Right.
But it was he did go through a lot of trouble to plan this out. But they think the one article I read, think that he committed suicide because he suffered 3rd-degree burns on his arms from starting the fire and continuing it. I mean, it was a flamethrower that he made at home.
Right.
So they think that he changed his plans because of the burns.
Because he wasn't going to be able to get away anymore? Or
I
he was
don't know
going to
if
be...
it was that, or if he was literally in so much pain that he... Because third-degree burns, that's insane.
Yeah.
I've had first-degree burn, and that was too much. You
can't go anywhere and get it treated.
Yeah.
Without them going,
And you definitely can't go through an airport. I mean, it's 2008, but that was like still after 9/11, so security was still crazy.
Right. Probably actually more so than it is now.
Yeah.
The further away we get, I feel like the more
it's like relaxed it is again. So then when police found him, he actually had cash cling wrapped or like, saran wrapped and like on his legs under a girdle, and it ended up being $17,000, which I feel like is not a whole lot.
No.
If you're going to run away and live off that.
But it would be enough to get you started. It would that'd be a bunch of rent.
Yeah.
And it would be enough to like, or maybe even if you're going out in the middle of nowhere, you could buy some property with that like that.
Yeah. That's why I was like, if you're...
But was that must have just been his money. Like he'd just been saving up for this?
I guess, but after you look at everything else, I was kind of like, that's a lot of money for you to have, but we'll get there. So his rental car, this was the craziest part, was parked a block away from his brother's house. So of course they were like, all right, well, this is the rental car he had. Obviously there's a contract on it. Like, this is this.
Right. Easy to find.
When they found it, the Santa suit was in there, but everything had been rigged to like ignite in flames if it was moved with like, kind of like a bomb with black powder.
Wow.
So he like booby trapped the entire car, but left evidence in there. Like, obviously, if you're going to leave the Santa hat and the suit and stuff.
Right.
Naturally, the detective's going to go and look at it and, like, want to move it and dig through the car. But he had rigged it so much that the bomb squad actually said it's going to just go and it's not safe for anyone to look in this car. Like, we need to clear the area and blow it up.
Go. Right.
So they were like, okay. So they had to clear the whole area, which I was crazy. I was like... I can't believe that they just get to decide what gets blown up. Like, I want to have that. No, it's gone now. Just blow it up. Can you imagine being like Enterprise? Like, shit.
Right.
What happened to your car? Yeah, it blew up. I don't know.
They intentionally, law enforcement intentionally blew it up.
Yeah.
It was sitting there. No one was touching it. And they were like, now just blow it up.
I was like, because I used to clean cars for Enterprise people. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, I would hate to have that car returned and I have to be the one to clean it. Like, guys, I think this is a bomb. So I was like, they cleared the area in all caps because sometimes I get really excited. And I'm like, blow it up. Yeah. I was really excited. But anyway, so that was the crazy part about the car. So after...
does that mean that he was intending for other people to get hurt? Because he could have just destroyed that stuff, or he could have just hidden this. I mean, it sounds like some of it's covering his tracks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They did for him a huge favor by blowing it up, right? Because now there's nothing.
After I read, so I think the final decision, I don't think it was as easy as, oh, it's rigged, let's just blow it up. But one of the decisions is that they they found a lot of boxes in his apartment of empty ammunition boxes.
Right.
And they were worried that it was in the car. So when it would
blow up.
Yeah.
But if he set anything up like that, it would have taken less time to just destroy it yourself. He must have been trying to hurt other people.
I was thinking it would give him, not him away, but... You know what I mean? Like, if he just blows up his car, like, someone's going to see that or smell that or hear that faster. But then I think that's why he was kind of just covering his tracks. So either A, he would have made it to Canada or Minnesota, wherever the hell he was trying to go. Or he's like, well, I'm going to be dead, so it's not going to matter, because he knew he was going to kill himself.
But wouldn't you just toss the Santa suit in Walmart's dumpster and then drop your rental car off at an airport, not check it in, just drop it off, and then, I don't know, catch an Uber home, and
maybe it was all a time thing, because he still had to drive 30 miles to
Yeah.
his brother's house when he knew police were already there. Like, they already knew who did it.
Right.
So.
What do you mean? The Santa suit didn't disguise him well enough?
Not enough.
They didn't start with the North Pole?
I don't even know if he had a beard on.
That's a problem.
I think so. But I couldn't find if he actually had a beard on or not.
I feel like that's part of the Santa suit.
Yeah, but
and
then
without
I think about,
that,
like, bad Santa, how he's just like dirty and in a Santa suit and he's not actually wearing
then he's not completely dressed.
Well,
he's partially naked.
Tell me about it. But he's also a murderer.
Wow, true. Okay.
You have a point.
All right, moving on.
Back to it. So I didn't want to write all of their names out because that was a little insane, but I wrote down like a quick little of all the fatalities pretty much. So it was his ex-wife and her mom and dad and her brother and his wife and then her other brother and that wife and her sister and a nephew. So these ages are from 17 to like 52.
So
To 70, 80. Mom and dad were 70 and 80.
The closest, it's the ex-wife and everyone closest to her.
All her immediate family.
Right.
So that's why I was thinking all the kids there. I think it was a huge family party, so I don't think it mattered because everyone was at like grandma and grandpa's. Or,
sure. But like those are the people that died?
Yes.
So then he must have been very specific about who he...
I think that's why they were like, he might have shot everywhere around because the survivors could say up to a certain point. Like the girl who got shot in the back, like she lived like that. If you're going to shoot someone and want to kill them, you're not going to just shoot them once in the back and then hope they die. Like,
right.
So that's why they were saying he probably did execution style. And I'm sure after, like I didn't get into all the nitty gritty details about like where the bone was cracked and if the skull was there and to see if there was a bullet, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, but either way, he wanted to make sure it was completely done. I think that's why he set the house on fire.
Right.
Because what is it? Like arsons always want the attention though.
Yeah, they like to go back and watch and be involved and
so I think that he wanted to give everyone like a show. Gosh. That was my thought. So it came down to the motives or motive. Pick one, pick them all. But I said, obviously, marital problems because of his recent divorce. He literally finalized the divorce like a week prior, like on the 19th or something like that. Like, so
what a rough time to get divorced,
right? But
I mean, I know it doesn't start at Christmas. You don't say,
yeah,
all right, let's
no,
work
it started in the summer
and
it ended up.
Yeah, but still, that does suck.
He lost his job. He was at like ITT. Oh God.
There it goes.
Normal. I made it a long time without yawning.
You did.
I'm proud of myself. He lost his job at ITT electrical systems and radar systems. Like that's his thing. So that happened in July, and in June was when the divorce started. He lost his job because he was
unstable.
Well, no, he was like, I don't know how you say it, but like putting in the wrong times and like giving himself more hours because he couldn't afford the divorce. So he was saying he was working a lot more than what he really was.
Which really I think just counts as embezzlement.
And they were like, oh, well, you're fired. Bye. So spousal support was $1,785 a month.
So it's alimony, right?
Yeah, but I was like, I don't know how this works, but that sounds like a lot just from...
It has to do, but it has to do with like the kind of support that your spouse, all kinds of things. Oh, that makes sense
because, okay, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself and I totally answered that in my head just now. He was also required to pay $10,000 in a settlement, which I was like, okay. But she was also, I guess, awarded to keep her ring. Like they let her keep the wedding ring. I didn't know that was such a big deal. And the family dog, which no way in hell would anyone ever take the dog away from me. I'd be like, you can have everything else. And she lived with her parents rent free. So she really didn't have a lot that she needed to pay for. So I was like, right. So instead,
but if he had been making the majority of the money when they were married, then he still that's
owes pretty much
her.
What it came down to because she had to be able to keep up with her lavish lifestyle.
Right.
So she would take the money and go on trips to Vegas. She bought a fancy car. She would go to like fancy restaurants and get massages and golf lessons. And she was.
I want a massage.
I thought you were going to say I want a golf lesson.
Nope. No interest in a golf lesson, but I'd like a massage.
That sounds nice. So that was all of like what they figured all of his motives were. Everything added up and he literally snapped.
Yeah. No, I mean, it sounds like, you know, and it would be interesting to know why they were getting divorced, because it sounds like it must have been
it was like
something
a very
she
weird,
initiated that was his fault.
It was like they were married for like a year. Mm-hmm. Like they weren't even together very long, and well, together like married wise. And it was like, from everything I read, it was very, I don't want to say mutual, but like they just didn't really like each other.
Interesting.
I don't know. It was very strange reading it, because I was like, I couldn't find anything out about if they had kids together. They were only married for a year. Like, I don't.
So probably
I think he
not.
had a kid from a previous relationship that he like hid from her, but like, I don't know if that'd be enough for me to want to divorce my husband.
I think it depends.
Yeah. On the situation, but
have we discussed kids and you lied to me and now I can't trust anything that you've said?
That's true.
Or was it like, oh, I think I did maybe knock up a girl in college, but I never really stuck around, and so I don't really know.
Well,
those are very different.
It like another. I didn't write it down because honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna be honest with you and say that I didn't feel like researching it because it's kind of sad. But I guess this like weird son that he had somewhere, maybe with some other person, had some injuries from like a swimming pool, or like something happened in a swimming pool, and then he had like permanent injury, or I don't know if it was brain. Like, yeah, that's why I couldn't even look into it, because I'm like, okay, it's probably brain, and that's like sad. And that was like a contributing factor. But I was like, if you didn't know about the kid, and then like, I don't know if you'd have that much of like a connection to be upset about it. Or,
but what if it was a financial pressure even? Like, he never had anything to do with the kid, but now the kid is in desperate need of more care.
Yeah.
So now
baby mama is
calling,
help.
And which is fair.
I was just like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm not even looking that up. Like, I don't want to look at that. These were plenty of motives to go and kill all these people.
Right. Not to excuse it, but
yeah, because you're that unstable that you can't cope with any of this.
Right.
So, the last thing I wrote was that after a while, they started reporting about it, and they started asking his neighbors like what he was like and if they'd ever known or guessed it. And one was like, he was very nice, he was very sociable, and I was like, warning.
Right.
It's like all the bad ones are.
Yeah, you would never. It's the ones where you're like, oh yeah, I could see him doing that. No, they're totally safe.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I'm afraid of my neighbors.
The long pork one.
Yeah. You know, they're very nice. They brought us smoked pork butt.
Yeah.
I confirmed the wife was alive before I ate it.
Yes.
Still not sure about the daughter.
They had a daughter?
Well, they were off visiting her. She was graduating. Then they came back, and then all of a sudden there was pork at our door.
Uh-oh.
It was delicious.
Oh, she was delicious. That's horrible.
No, it is horrible. And they're probably like just the sweetest old people, whatever.
Yep.
Well, okay, I see how you feel about Christmas.
But, yep, that was the end of my my little story there.
Gosh.
Sorry.
That is so crappy. And you know, the thing about that is just extra crappy on top of all the crappiness is that now that's Christmas for everybody close to that. For all of the survivors, that's what Christmas is like.
Yep.
For all of their children, that's what Christmas is like.
The 8-year-old, I guess, like years later, had an interview about the whole experience. I was like, I'm gonna cry. I can't watch that.
Right.
Because her whole life, when she should be enjoying Christmas and Santa and blah blah blah, she was shot in the face by a Santa who was probably like an uncle or someone, you know, at one point.
Right.
Like, nope, I would not.
Gosh. And you have to, like, I have to tell myself that he was always unstable and iffy, and that this wasn't like somebody's favorite uncle who all of a sudden snapped and did crazy shitty things, but that like he was always crazy, and that's why we were just talking about like stress reactions with all that. Yeah, there is no stress reaction that is murder everybody.
No.
Oh God. Okay, well, mine's happy. You want to hear a happy one?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is from Thursday, as in like 4 days ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited. And it's a story that has a happy ending.
That's good.
All right. So it happens in Warren, Michigan, November 30th, 2017. Nicole Korber and Calvin Rock leave for work Thursday morning about 6:30, like they do all the time. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, from what I can tell, they're just very normal people. They have a pretty, routine. Mm-hmm. That's not what I want to say, but they have a regular routine. They live in a neighborhood where people are not necessarily like best friends, but like, close enough, kind of watch out for each other. They have already done a bunch of their Christmas shopping. Apparently they might even be ahead of me, except for that pile of packages that just arrived at my door. And they apparently lived in a pretty safe place, because when they left for work later, when they were asked about it, they both said, oh yeah, actually there was this car that I don't know whose car it was, but it was just a car. We figured somebody was like visiting a neighbor or whatever. It wasn't a big deal, right? That was parked out on the street. So they leave at 6:30 in the morning, and very shortly after they drive away, two men get out of the car that they saw and didn't think anything of, and climb in through their kitchen window.
Sorry, my head instantly went to, so in the sink? Because every window in the kitchen is always in a sink.
Probably. They probably climbed into the sink. But it is also probably a window that you're most likely to leave unlocked or cracked, because you're like venting out your kitchen, right? Mm-hmm. Especially if you cook like I do and the whole place fills with smoke. The fire alarm's going off, and then you have to pry open the window.
That's funny.
So they climb in through the kitchen window, and a neighbor sees them do this.
Oh.
Okay. So the neighbor is like, yeah, I can't think of any reason why it would be acceptable for anybody to climb through anybody else's kitchen window. So she called 911.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So when the police arrived, the men were still inside. Mm-hmm. They were gathering from the house weapons, electronics, and Christmas presents.
Aww.
Yep. And
what jerks.
The police were like, stop thief.
Yeah.
And the men were like,
sounded like Aladdin.
I know.
I was like, riff raff, street rat. Oh my God. Okay. Sorry.
The men, like all smart criminals do, ran the other direction from the men that were holding guns on them.
Of course.
And they climbed out of a window. So I guess they got up to the second floor. Running away, or maybe that's where they were in their burglary process by that point, because I presume the kitchen was on the ground floor and that's where they started. And they climbed out onto the roof of the house.
It's like, oh, I don't want to be stuck in the house.
Climb on the roof. No, don't worry, they weren't stuck on the roof. From the roof they jumped to an awning. Okay, so then we had a conversation, David and I, about what an awning exactly was, because these grown men jumped onto it, and in my mind, the awnings are like those little like canvas
flimsy
things.
Why is this Aladdin in my head right now?
It is so Aladdin. It's like
even
not
he
even
jumps
real.
on the awning, and it's canvas like
So it's possible that the article I was reading doesn't really know what awning means, and they really meant like a porch covering, right?
Oh.
But an awning is a stretched piece of usually canvas over some sort of support system to block out sun. So it could also be that they had like one of those deck shades on the back or something. And then they just assumed it would be sturdy enough. It was. The awning apparently did not drop them on the ground, because from the awning, they jumped onto the garage. Yeah, they're like leapfrog.
Little ninjas hopping around. Dang.
So the police chased them and
they should
had to tackle them. I don't know about one of them, but the second one, it took 4 officers to get this guy to the ground.
Well, I watch a lot of live PD, and it takes a lot of officers a lot
of time.
Like, there was one guy, and he just decided to run, and they kind of looked at each other like, where the hell is he running? But like, not to be mean, but he was kind of a bigger guy, so they knew he wasn't going to get very far. So they kind of like took a second to look at each other, we
can catch him, we just don't want to.
So it took all, and he didn't even run anywhere, like he cornered himself.
He didn't leap from awning to roof.
No, he didn't. He hid behind a drive-through billboard like that you like order off of.
Hid behind it?
Yeah, he was in the parking lot, and he ran across the parking lot, and he hid behind that, and the girl was like, the girl, like the cop was there.
Yeah.
She was just like, what are you doing?
It's like the guy that took off all his clothes in the bushes, or the woman that took off all her clothes in the bushes. Like,
why are you naked?
Because I was half naked and I had to go one way or the other, and I chose wrong.
He was like, it's the winter. Put your clothes back on. I can't.
So they were pretty sure that the one that took 4 officers to tackle to the ground was on drugs. And one of the officers actually got some minor injuries from this takedown. And of course, there was some neighbor watching that was like, oh, they used excessive force and they beat these guys up, blah, blah, blah. But the police department is like, no, they were on drugs. They were in someone's house and we took them down. Like, we followed the rules, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be more conversation about that at some point. And I don't know who's right or wrong, but whatever.
I shouldn't have been stealing my shit.
Right. Well, and both men have, the article said, extensive criminal history. So.
Keywords.
Right. So the cops probably walked in and went, Joe, Fred, get down. And Joe and Fred were like, hell no.
They call them frequent flyers.
Right. So the article was written on Thursday and said that they should be charged Friday. And it didn't say like Friday as in tomorrow or Friday as in like a week. Like I don't know. I feel like those things take longer than 24 hours. Either way, this was not a big enough story for any follow-up to have been done. Yeah. So I couldn't find any more information on that.
That's okay.
But the homeowner, Nicole, did say that she said, I'm very excited they got caught. That made my day right there. So it wasn't even just, I'm very excited they didn't steal my Christmas. It was, I'm glad they got what they deserved.
That's funny.
And they are planning on honoring the hero neighbor, the police department is, which is pretty cool. However, strangely, she was not named in the article. So perhaps she hasn't decided whether or not she would like to be honored.
It's like a private honor. Like, here you go.
Right. Like,
we're
going to clap in the general direction of your house, but we won't release your address to anyone.
Oh, my God.
So, there you go.
That is funny.
That was my Home Alone.
And I even got you a funny one to end on because I knew mine was going to be so bad.
Well, I'm excited. Let's have more funny.
So, I said my funny little baby crime. Little baby as in size, not because there's a baby involved.
Okay, because that wouldn't be funny at all.
I know exactly how I have to say things to you because I know exactly where your mind goes. So, I mean,
unless the baby was committing the crime, which, by the way, after you tell your story, I think we really need to talk about the opossum.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I said Santa Claus equals chimney, right? Wrong-o!
Oh, God. I'm so ready.
So this Santa, styled as a robber, because get it? It's a robber, but as Santa. So Santa styled as a robber.
Wait.
Like,
Santa?
Because, like, the robber, obviously, like...
Did the robber dress up as Santa?
Well, that's why I said, like, Santa styled as a robber. To, reverse it.
Oh, it's your cleverness, not his.
No. Ugh, duh. Okay.
Well, I was very confused because your murderer did dress up as Santa.
I know.
So I don't know what to expect.
But I just had to flip it. And
Okay, I gotcha.
Okay. So
I gotcha.
This smart little gentleman right here tried to shimmy down a chimney.
Okay, what? What the fuck?
Well, that's what Santas do. So he was like, I could do this.
Okay,
and
Santa flies around the entire world and visits every single house of kids who have money in one night.
I don't know if this Santa knew that.
Well, apparently not. He went down a chimney.
Well, yes, but I think that's all he knew about Santa was that he wore a red suit and he had a hat.
Did he wear a red suit?
He did. Full costume.
So he did dress up as Santa.
And went down the chimney. I know.
So...
Did
he make it?
Oh, no, he got stuck.
Okay.
He shimmied down as far as he could go and then got stuck.
How far down is stuck?
I don't know.
Was his head poking out?
I really wanted his feet to be poking out. Like all of a sudden his hips.
He went
and
down
he's like,
dead
oh,
first.
man.
Right, or
like,
head first.
That's why I was like, I don't know how he went down. I couldn't find any real pictures. So I was like, dang it, this is what I need. But if I was like fire and rescue, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm taking pictures of this. Right. But that's what he had to do. He had to wait until the fire department came to rescue him. And the criminal claimed that he was just going down there because he dropped his backpack down the chimney.
I was on the roof pretending to be Santa. And I had my backpack, and I was like, I think Santa would toss his bag down first. And then I did. And then I was like, well, shit, now my bag's in somebody's home. I don't want to knock on the door. I guess I'll go down the chimney after it.
So that was he said, I just went to retrieve it. And the police were like, okay.
You're right.
Like, you were going in there to rob, like, you were trying to
because it was an empty backpack.
Yeah, right. And so he was actually sentenced to 17 months in prison.
Good.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, prison's the scary one.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I do have a bonus surprise one for you because I forgot I wrote it, but it's so funny. Okay, this is like one of those huge lists that's like funny crimes, people in Santa suits, and this was like
for people in
Santa suits. I said bonus one because dead. I was literally so dead. I was cracking up.
Nice.
This is a man volunteered to drive a Christmas float in their local Christmas parade until he mixed some alcohol in it and floats in the parade. I know you hate parades, but
they're just loud for no good reason. And ours are all full of trucks.
Yes, that are loud.
8 miles of trucks where people have destroyed the mufflers intentionally and lifted them. And it has nothing to do with homecoming or Christmas or daffodils.
So this guy decided that instead of going like the 2 miles an hour, you actually get to go because something stops and then everyone stops.
And half the people are walking and you're not allowed to run over them.
Yes.
Right.
So, nope, he decided he was going to go 60 miles per hour.
In a parade?
It's the float! The float! I can only imagine. I think I made it more funny in my head, so I'm going to do it for you too. I can only imagine him driving, a pickup truck or something because that's usually what pulls the flow. And all these little kids dressed up in little like costumes in the back being like, ah! And like the decorations
Jesus goes flying out.
Yes. And that's like Mary's like, ah, and like everyone's freaking out. There's probably a camel or like a real, like ours, there's always real life goats or a lamb.
Yeah.
And everyone's freaking out. No one has anything to hold on to because it's all paper mache. That's all I could think about the entire time, and that he's just booking it. So
he's like, God, this parade is boring. Let's put this show on the road.
So obviously he got a DUI, and he had like open container, and there was like a million other charges that they just stacked on him.
See, that's so unfair because if you're gonna be in a parade, you should be allowed to have alcohol, and he had to ruin it for everything.
Yep. No, and it's like because it's like, oh, I'm only going like 2 miles an hour. Nope, not
60.
today.
Holy shit.
Yep. So I had to make that image in my head for
great.
you because I couldn't stop thinking about like paper mache flowers and snowflakes flying off.
Yeah, no, right.
That's all
the little
of.
streamers and then parts of the manger go flying and then
there's like a candy cane. I don't know. There was just a lot.
That is beautiful. I love it.
Yep. I just like I was like done, and I was like, nope, one more. It has to be done.
All right, so Miracle on 34th Street, the newer one, right? With the little girl from Matilda. Now she's all grown up.
Well, yeah.
It's not newer. It was new when we were little.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was little, before you were born. Anyway, that's how the real Santa gets a job in the Macy's Day Parade. Is the previous Santa is drunk and his pants fall off as he's climbing onto the float.
God.
And so they have to replace him, and then they see this guy and they're like, you look like Santa. Come be Santa. Only he is Santa.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
No,
and then he's like the
cute.
best Santa, and so then they hire him, and then
because he is Santa. How does Santa have time to be in parades?
Well, I don't know, and he also had time to be in the.
My favorite Christmas movie was Mrs. Claus. It's so underrated, but it has Angela Lansbury in it.
Oh, I like her. I've never seen Mrs. Claus.
Oh, it's so cute.
Well, we should watch Christmas movies.
She says, you know what? F this joint. I'm getting out. I'm flying around the world because she made a map that was going to be more time efficient. And Santa was like, no, I know what I'm doing. And she was like, but if you take this map, this route I made for you specifically to get home to me faster.
Right.
She's like, you can get home to me faster. Do you understand? No, I'm Santa. I know what I'm talking about. And she was like, I'm going to go test this out. So she gets the sleigh. She gets the reindeer. She's like, F this. I'm out. All the elves are like, you're out. What are you talking about? Come back. You can't go anywhere.
Right.
So she's
Santa's
like,
going to be so mad.
And she goes. Obviously, this is not the direct, like, dialogue. She does not say psych, but she does.
Does she say F this?
So she goes, I wish she would. She's flying around, and then there's some problems, and she's like, oh shit, I should land, like, this is crazy. So she lands, and she's in, like, downtown, like, village of New York, but it was like, I don't know, I don't even want to say, like, what time period, but it was, like, a totally different time. So then you realize, oh, this isn't, like, she's, like, this is much older, and it's, like, child labor laws, and, like, all the soapbox people, and there's, like, women's rights, and she just ends up, like, helping this whole little family, and everything is so sweet. I'm not gonna tell you anything else, because you need to watch it.
I just need to know if she gets the presents delivered on time.
You have to watch it.
She has to, right? It's a Christmas movie.
Everything is okay. It's a Christmas movie. Everyone ends up happy at the end. But okay. Well, okay.
Not Santa. Santa's pissed.
There are other things, but yes, you need to watch it.
Cool.
That
sounds like fun.
It was cute.
Maybe I'll download it for an airplane ride so that when I'm
cute.
done editing this podcast episode. Can we talk about the opossum?
Oh my God, yes, we can.
I can't think of a Christmas movie
with a possum?
With an opossum, or that would fit in this. I can't think of anything Christmassy that fits. There were no opossums in the manger that we know of. There are no opossums in any Christmas carols that I know of. None at the North Pole. I guess people drink around Christmas.
Everyone should drink on Christmas.
So maybe that's the connection.
Alcohol is the connection here.
This is a story we were not intending to do.
Oh, no, that has nothing to do with Florida. I was going to say Christmas, but Florida and stupid criminals, and it's,
Yeah, but
it has nothing to do with Christmas.
No. So this wasn't a story that either of us had planned, but as we were setting up the microphones, it came across on my Echo show.
Yep.
And we were like, okay, what are the magic words to make it tell us this story? Because we need to hear this story.
Because I looked up and I was like, does that say what I think it says? Like, I had to, like, go deep in my mind to, like, officially read each word and not just glance. Because I was like, am I making this up right now?
Right. Am I misunderstanding the way that I want it to be? No, it was totally the way you wanted it to be. All right. So do you want to tell it?
No, you have to tell it.
Okay. So the headline was opossum robs ABC store, liquor store?
Liquor store in Florida.
Okay, so I don't know if there are ABC stores there.
No, it's just liquor stores.
Okay, so an opossum. There were not very many details on how he committed the crime.
No, it was very... I wish we could just have her say it.
So the key word is you say, Alexa, tell me about the liquor store robbery. And... Or you could probably just Google it, because really. Anyway, so here's the story. So it goes in somehow to a liquor store, I'm assuming, and somehow it gets a hold of brandy.
Bourbon.
Even better. And less likely to be drunk by an animal. I don't know. I don't really understand how it got it. How maybe it knocked a bottle over and it shattered.
That's the only way I can imagine, like, scurrying around and being crazy because it's in a building and it's a wild animal. And, like, it would just...
something breaks.
It's, like, bottom shelf bourbon. And he just crashed it and then was like...
I feel like it's top shelf because it had to fall far enough to break it open.
I don't know.
I think bottom shelf bourbon, it would probably just, like, thunk.
Yeah.
Maybe chip. Either way, he drank it.
Yeah, I did.
And he got drunk.
Yes.
And animal control had to come.
They said he's sobering up at a local wildlife facility. And then they said... oh, shit. They said police said no sign of a hangover.
And they put him in the drunk tank.
Oh my god!
There is no animal drunk tank. They had to call somebody and be like,
what he was doing.
We have a drunk opossum. Could you hang on to him until he sobers?
Yeah. I can't catch him because he keeps stumbling, and
he was playing dead, but I think maybe he just blacked
Dead,
out.
but he kept going. That's right. I don't know what sounds possums make, guys. I'm sure they don't make that noise. I could just imagine trying to play dead, but being too drunk to like fully commit to it. So
Right.
he's just like, oh, okay.
Right, or he's doing one of those dying. I die. I perish.
Yeah.
I'm dying. The life is slipping.
I'm dying
for like 3
I'm
hours.
dead. That would be funny.
Like in Zootopia.
Yes. Oh, that's so funny.
So
That,
there we go.
Yep.
Merry Christmas.
Yes. Hope you enjoyed.
Or happy holidays. Whatever holidays you celebrate. All cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jordan's like, I like everything but Christmas. So,
Yeah.
whatever you want to invite
Whatever
me to,
holiday,
I'm game.
I'm down.
All right. All right. So I think that we are going to skip any kind of shout outs, although we do have some just amazing people that we love. But we will resume shout outs. This is just a little bonus episode. So
Really, if you talk to us on Twitter or something, we pretty much will shout out and talk to you back. So
yeah, pretty much like the moment anyone tweets. Also, you should go on Instagram because Jordan has been helping me archive, catalog, commemorate some of my San Francisco adventures.
Yes.
Namely the one where I told her that she should podcast about my murder, but she wasn't awake to get it, and so she didn't get it till the next morning.
I was like, great.
And my boss told me that there were people all around me. I just couldn't see them.
Yes. I was like, don't ever say that to me ever, please, because I'll be like, what do you mean?
She called me later in the day and she's like, I didn't mean for that to be creepy. I was like, it was so creepy.
And it's like, just keep your eyes open. There's people everywhere. You just can't see them. I'm like,
ears.
Oh, yeah, ears. Oh, shit. That's even worse. No, thank you.
So anyway.
Join us on Twitter as I try to convince Erin to watch Stranger Things.
Yeah, well, if we can get some of them downloaded, I might take them with me on my next trip.
She'll watch it, guys.
We'll see.
She has to.
We'll see. I'm a chicken and I don't like creepy
You
things.
should watch it just for the sake of your whole like work project, because that, oh my God, would I was
Fits
thinking
right
about the characters.
God damn it.
And it's current and relevant. Surprise. Welcome to the 21st century.
All right. So yeah, Twitter,
Yep.
Instagram, Facebook.
Always.
Come join our Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
We have lots of new followers on Podbean lately, and that is amazing. New
Yes.
subscribers. And so thank you guys so much. And you should come and subscribe too, because obviously it's the cool thing to do.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to be back in January, and we have some very special, cool things that are going to happen in January.
Mm-hmm.
And also for our Patreons,
Oh,
or our
yeah.
patrons on Patreon, you wonderful heroes,
baby angels.
baby angels, but not the same kind of baby as Jordan's baby story.
Well, not baby as in size, baby as in cute.
Oh.
Baby means a lot of things to me.
Basically, she likes to call people babies.
I know.
Anyway,
I call Lindsay baby noodle.
I owe you things,
Yeah, well, yes.
and I am making an
We
effort.
have not forgot.
In fact,
Life
the guilt
finds a
follows
way.
me every day for
Aw.
not having done them. I did get stickers out, and
cool.
the little thing from the dogs went
Aw.
out, and I know that
That
at least
pup.
one person has received hers. So.
Oh, cool.
Other things are coming. I've not forgotten about you. I'm not trying to break my promise. It's just,
This is why we took the break, guys, because we knew everything was going to go crazy.
And yet I'm still suffering podcast withdrawal, so we should at least chat podcast for the next month or so.
We so do, though.
Yes. But I mean, they should join in too.
Yes.
So, all right. Have happy holidays. Be
Yes.
safe. Lock up your Christmas presents and your bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
And do not admit any Santas into your house unless you prearranged for someone to show up in a Santa suit.
Yep.
Also, people don't actually fit down chimneys.
Please don't try.
Don't try. You might die. What if you went head first and suffocated?
What if you went in at all
And it
the
worked?
family lit a fire?
Ow!
Ow!
The Flu Network, totally a Harry Potter thing.
Yeah.
Us
And that's not
Muggles
even the
can't
right
do it.
way to go in.
No, that's not how you get in the
out.
flu. Right?
Oh, shit.
All right. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Crime Crazy. We hope that you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed making it. If you like our show, please tell a friend, or better yet, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes or your favorite podcasting app. We really appreciate your feedback and want to give you a shout out on the next episode if you leave us a review. If you leave us a review somewhere other than iTunes, just let us know. If you loved our show, consider donating to our Patreon. We have lots of great surprises that we want to share with anyone who supports us. And let's be real, it's really just an excuse to send you cool stuff. Thanks again, and remember, even though we really have no idea what we're talking about, we'll be back next week to talk about it all over again.